All right, so we'll just get going. People come in a little bit late, that's fine. They'll just have to catch up a little bit. But um, today is going to be all about websites, and we're going to be going through all kinds of stuff, giving you all kinds of different ways to improve your websites, and ultimately how you can use it to start generating more leads and really just more revenue for the business through your website. Um, and I just wanted to thank. So we did this in partnership with Fortress Building Products, of course. So I just wanted to thank Alex Waits and Scott Sheffield from Fortress for helping put this all together. They were looking for some ways to really help out the contractors that they work with to, just provide some useful information and help their businesses. So I spent a lot of time on this. So I wanted to make sure I bring out my best stuff for you guys, stuff that I know was going to help move the needle and really set yourselves up for success in 2025. And some of the things we're going to be covering here. So this is just some of them. It's going to be a little bit more than that, but we're going to be talking about all the things that will enhance. So the 10 critical elements that enhance conversions. We're going to be talking about how to create a customer avatar so you know what type of customer you need to be speaking to and the content on your website needs to be speaking to. And we're going to be going through examples how to optimize your website for conversions. So taking those people that come to your website and actually being able to convert them and get them to reach out to you. And we are going to be doing some SEO audits as well. So if you want to have your website audited, just put that in the chat for us. Just put your name and your website URL in the chat there, and we'll go from there. Some guys have the name a little bit iPhone 3 or whatever. So it'll just make it easier for me when I get to you. But yeah, just pop that in the chat and we'll get to those in a little bit later. And Matilde, can you just monitor the mutes? It looks like there might be some like background noise on some of the guys listening. Just
Yeah, absolutely.
about. Okay, thank you. All right, I see some websites coming in here. Perfect. All right. All right, let's keep going. So if you're wondering who I am, if you've never met before, name's Alex Danner, and I'm the owner and founder of Fence and Deck Marketers, and been doing digital marketing, been in this industry about 10 years now, actually over 10 years. Do some different public speaking. If anybody here was at Deck Expo, we were there and did some speaking gigs there. Wrote The Best Known Fence and Deck Contractor, released that a few months ago. It's on Amazon. And really, Fence and Deck Marketers was created on producing value first. So we have all kinds of different channels we give free content to, and through the webinars we do like this. We do our own webinars. We have the podcast, the Fence and Deck Mastery podcast. You can see some of our guests there, and also just really daily social media posts. Really trying to give as much information that's useful that can really help your fencing or decking business grow. Also part of NADRA, the AFA. If you guys were at the NADRA Summit, might have met there as well. We were there, went there with my wife on I guess it was like the very beginning of the year there. So, but that's just a little bit about me and Fence and Deck Marketers. And we'll just get right into it. So I'm trying to make this, I want to make it as interactive as possible. I want to hear back from you guys and, see some of your pain points. So I'm just curious because I saw the registration list and looked like some of you might not have websites. So just trying to get an idea of where everybody's at. So if you could put a 1 in the chat if you don't have a website whatsoever, put a 2 in the chat if you have one but you hate it, and then put a 3 in there if you think it needs some work, just some kind of work, and put a 4 in there if you love it and it performs well. You have a website that you're confident about. All right, we got a 4. Somebody's definitely confident. A lot of 3s. Only 1. Okay, so pretty much everybody here seems like they have a website and they like it, but just needs a little bit of work. Okay. All right, perfect. 3.5. All right, Mark's getting fancy. All right, so this is all going to be obviously tied to marketing and how you can use your website for marketing and for SEO. So I am just curious too, are there any individual challenges, I guess, coming into this? I'm curious where you're at and what problems you might have seen, that you're hoping to fix. So if you have anything specific, I'd love to know about that too. Maybe Sounds like some of you or most of you have some kind of issue with the website. So if there's any concern specific with that, I'd love to know. Or maybe you're just doing SEO, it's not producing results. Maybe your ads aren't doing well. Any kind of marketing issues that you might have. If anyone could put that in the chat too, it'd be great to kind of see where we're at. All right, so one of the biggest ones, doesn't look like anybody mentioned it here. I'll keep an eye on the chat, but a lot of people, have a problem with the investment in marketing. Just the amount of money you have to allocate to it. They have some problems with that, which I understand, especially if you go from spending nothing to some amount. The SBA, Small Business Association, says around 3 to 8%. So depending on your revenue, that can be a really large amount. So I can understand the worry there. But I also see, and actually it seems like I think actually Top Deck said just lack of traffic, but lack of traffic definitely is a Mark, yours is kind of the point here. So great traffic, but increased conversion rate. So one common problem we see is, you might get traffic, some people aren't getting any traffic or very little, but then there's also those that are getting traffic that isn't converting into leads. So a common problem, you might look at Google Analytics and say like, all right, all this traffic is flooding in, but who cares if the website isn't actually creating leads and generating jobs off of it. And we've had a lot of examples like this. We had a client in Dallas and Fort Worth that basically when they joined us, Google Analytics was really promising, really impressive. And then, we look at the lead flow and there's very few leads coming in. And really that is just basically how the website is created. So if you have a website that is not going after the right keywords, and maybe you're going after, more informational content or ranking for that, you're going to get a lot of people coming to the website, learning something, and then hopping off. Where in reality, you want to get your website ranking for those highly converting keywords, deck builder, fence company, deck contractors near me, things like that. So that's what we're going to be talking about, how to piece together your website in a really perfect way to, go after these right keywords. All right. So also low ROI, I think this kind of ties into what a lot of you guys were saying. When you're doing marketing or specifically SEO, all that traffic, it's just not getting a solid return on the investment, or you're just not really sure, what's actually being attributed to the marketing spend that you have. So if you're, not really sure, if you're not using tracking in any sort, you don't really know if the money that you're paying for in marketing or the different marketing types you're doing are producing a result. So we'll talk about that as well here. So keep on going. So ultimately, if you're not producing solid leads, of course, that's failure. You're not getting the amount of leads that you need, and the investment that you're putting in is not producing the result that you want, and the business is going to stay stagnant. But what we want to do, and what we're going to be talking about here today, is just having a website that not only looks good, but also converts people. So basically being able to say, you want to have that website that stands out against your competition. So when somebody's looking for a deck or a fence builder, your website pops up and you look the best there, because people will absolutely judge you from your website. If you have different competition and they, your competitors have these really nice, robust websites with nice looking pictures and, really easy to navigate, and your website isn't, there's a very, very good chance that that other business will get at least the first crack at the lead, maybe the only, crack at that first lead. So you want to stand out in all these different categories, which is what we'll be talking about. And really, aside from having, a really nice, beautiful website, you want to make sure it's actually converting people. So there's a lot of key elements, key things you need to have on the website. I'll give you a long list here shortly, but that list, once it's implemented, will make it much more likely that you turn in that existing user base you have and convince them to actually click call or fill out a web form, that kind of thing. So that's, basically what I was saying there. You want to have something that consistently converts the people that are coming to the website, turning them into leads. You want to put their mind at ease. You don't want to be, you want people to know you're a legitimate company, have an idea of who's behind the company, so they don't feel nervous or being scammed or who they're working with, that kind of thing. And once you get once you get this going and start building that momentum, that's where you're starting to see that steady growth of leads and more consistent growth there. Marketing is definitely not magic. And that's good news, I guess. But I'm sure everyone here has been bombarded with marketing emails and companies that will promise the moon, but in reality, it's not rocket science. It's not magic. You just got to have the right strategy in place, and you have to recognize that your area is going to be a little bit different than everybody else's. So what might be easy to stand out in your area might be really hard in some more major cities. And let's see here. So at the end of the day, and what we're going to be working towards through this webinar is, the success of having the phones ringing more consistently, of course, the salespeople closing, and really just having your crews busy and business growing. But the website is the hub of everything, pretty much with your marketing. So everything starts with the website. Pretty much no matter where you do marketing, whether it's online or offline, they're going to find your website and go to it. So, if you're doing mailers or you're on a billboard or you're doing radio or TV ads, if somebody's serious about using you, pretty much every time they're going to Google you, they're going to look at your Google listing, they're going to check out your website and make sure it's legitimate. Same thing with Facebook ads. If they see some ad, talking about how great you guys are, they're only going to feel at ease if they see some reviews that back that up or a website that kind of shows off your previous work. So you got to have that website built out properly, so that way it, I guess, increases the effectiveness of all the other types of marketing that you do. Most people in general too, before they make a big decision, it seems like most are deck builders on here. Decks are not cheap, and a lot of the guys we work with and talk to, most want. Well, at the very least, it's usually 20,000 plus is kind of a norm, but I'm sure a lot of you guys are building much bigger decks than that. So if you're spending, 20, 50, 100, $200,000 on a deck, people are going to be doing their research and figuring out who exactly you are. So if you don't have a footprint online where they can't figure out what you've done and the work you've done and what people are saying about you, it's unlikely that those huge jobs are going to come to you. They've got to have some kind of reassurance that you're going to get the job done and they're not paying all that money and getting scammed, that kind of thing. It can be really easy to just look at a website and say, wow, this looks amazing. I want something like this, but that's all good. That's all great. But if you don't have these things to actually convert people, it's not going to produce the result that you want. So this is a very common scenario that I want to kind of show you the difference. So say your website, you have Google Analytics installed and you're getting 500 people per month. And out of those 500, say 5% of them convert, which would be 25 calls. Say you sell or you convert at 30%, that would mean 7 jobs. I just said 6,000 on I guess probably a smaller deck, but that would end up and result in 42,000. But if you have a new website, not even talking about SEO, not all these other things, basically just having a different website that does convert, from day one, you can take that exact same amount of traffic and double or triple the amount of calls that come in, same conversion rate, but it leads to more jobs. So from 5% to 15% can mean 7 jobs to 22 jobs and 42,000 to 132,000. So building a website, especially on the decking side, I mean, there's obviously big fences out there as well, but decks, tend to be a bigger ticket item. Just making sure and feeling confident that website is built to convert can mean a huge increase in your revenue. So it's something you really want to take a look at. We'll be showing you some examples here in a second, but you want to make sure you're confident in your website. All right, so we're going to talk about how to convert it, how to change it, and how to get it actually built to convert. So we'll give you some different items here. These are the 10 critical elements that you need to enhance conversion and start generating these results that I'm talking about. All right, so first things first, the basics. So make sure your website has a phone number that's visible. The last thing you want to do is have some teeny tiny phone number in the very top that gets hidden as soon as you scroll on the page. you want to have something. I'll just show you an example here. A phone number that's nice and big. You can see here it's animated. Could even do a little bit bigger, but you don't want to have it kind of hidden up there in the top. You want to make it so it's always visible. And you got to think the people that are coming to your website, there's a good chance they're not very tech savvy. Who knows? So if you're not making it very, very easy for them to contact you and find out how to contact you, they could get frustrated and leave, or who knows? You could just lose out on that because that's not set up first. And then also the online web, so your contact forms, you want to make sure those are visible on all your pages. Some people don't want to call you. They want to just fill out a form and then have you get back to them. So giving them that option and kind of making it clear, you can put it towards the top like this. It always should be towards the top, but doesn't necessarily have to be right here, but I would always put it kind of as one of the first things on the page. So that way it's very easily accessible too. If you have authority symbols, so if you have a Better Business Bureau ranking of A+, don't put it on there if you have a D- or something like that. Make sure it's a good score, but you can put that on the site to kind of, sell yourself a little bit. If you are, part of Fortress, you're part of their, platinum program or whatever your certification is, you can put that on the website too. This is obviously just some other ones, but really advertise that. Show what kind of experience you have. People like to see that, to know you're have been around and have actually installed quite a few decks before they hire you. So let's see. Okay, and then calls to action. So as you go through the page, make sure you're giving them options to reach out. So you have the contact form, the phone number, but as you go through all the text and content on a page, have different options to contact you. So they're not scrolling a whole thing without seeing, some kind of button to reach out. You can do different offers that match the services. If you do some kind of discount in the winter, or if you offer any certain amount of money off for new deck builds, something like that, you can put those on there. Mobile optimized. So make sure you don't have a website that they're clicking it or pinching and zooming to view text. Make sure it is optimized and is easy to use on mobile too. And we talked about the contact form. This is something we've seen clients use, having a book online option. So if you have a calendar that you can use, I've seen people use Calendly, but there's also Service Titan and these other softwares have different ways to book, so you can do that too. But giving them the ability to book online, I will be honest, it's kind of mixed results. Some people like it, some hate it because it gives you access to your calendar to anybody. So you can have some bad leads or people that aren't qualified reaching out. We're going to be talking about speaking to your avatar here in a second. I'll show you how to do that. This is a huge one. So make sure you're taking pictures of the team. They want to see, the owner, the team members, things like that. Get a photographer out there, take some pictures of, the owner, different team members, do like portraits of them wearing a polo, just like a single photo. You can do that. You could do a team photo. You could even do the owner and their family, a nice professional photo there, putting it on it. But the last thing you want is a website that just, you have no clue who you're working with. Like, you want to give them an idea of where exactly, who they're getting into business with. And the About Us page is usually about the second most searched page. So if somebody's on your website and they're like, yeah, we might be able to use them, they're going to click on the About Us page and just see who even owns the company. So it's important to have that on there. Video, you can offer videos on there. That's another great thing to do on the website and social media, talking about the products, giving people a little bit of an idea of how you work, things like that. Another big one is social proof. So making sure you show your online reviews on each page of the website. I'll show you some examples of that here in a second. Okay, so just go back here. I'm curious, out of all these, anything stand out? So we have, the phone number, we have the calls to action, the offers, mobile optimized, contact forms, photos. Anything stands out to y'all about what you think might make the biggest impact for your business? I'm just curious if anything stuck out that you think you guys don't have that might, and improve your website and experience. So you just put something in the chat there to anything that stuck out that you think you're missing that could improve the website. Calls to action, photos, yep, videos. All right. Team photos. And also, if you're wondering, if you don't know who to hire as a photographer, you could find a local one. But we actually started, Matilde from my team, she actually just started using this website that I heard about. It's called Snapper. It's like SNAPPR. Is that what it is, Matilde? Snapper? Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
SNA. If you could put that in the chat, if anybody's curious. It seems like they help you find a photographer and they kind of handle all the heavy lifting. So they'll find someone that can come out. We hired them to do some video and photos for an event coming up. So that might be that seems like one of the better options and pretty reasonably priced, at least the person we found. Yeah, it seems like the gallery, the photos, that's a big one. Yeah, so you guys can check that out. Okay, so this is a quote to kind of see, with your website, you want to have an idea of what your target customer is thinking and what they look at. So the quote, if you can see Joe Jones through Joe Jones' eyes, then you can sell what Joe Jones buys. So if you have a website that's not tailored to one, the type of customer that you want, this isn't always the case, but a lot of times on the decking side, most want these bigger, they want to be the guy that builds, or the company that builds the bigger jobs, the $50,000 or $40,000 plus jobs. Again, it's not everybody, but whatever the case may be, you want to think about what that person is looking for. I'm going to use that as an example since it's probably the most common, but you want to have the website really tailored to them. It should be selling directly to them and all the things that they might be worried about. And to do that, we're going to be building a customer avatar. So we're going to be putting ourselves in their shoes. We're going to be talking about their pains and frustrations, their fears, their goals, their dreams, really trying to, see exactly what I guess they would want to see in order to get them to reach out. I'm just curious if anybody's done this or heard of it. Has anyone ever put a one in the chat if you've ever heard of a customer avatar, if you've ever built one? And put a two in there if you've never heard of it. Okay. Looks like mostly twos. All right. All right. Yeah, I'm not too surprised by that. Seems like mostly twos. So we'll talk about that as well and kind of go into more details here. So this is, of course, just an example, but this is kind of how you can break down this chart and, really get a better, clearer vision of what your target customer would be like. So on somebody that's going to afford these more higher end decks, just an example, of course, this doesn't fit with everybody, but typically if you're building these higher end, $50,000 plus jobs, you're going to have some kind of money, making solid money. So of course it would be a homeowner, typically 40 or older, typically male, occasionally female, married with kids, head of household, annual income at least 200,000. Family oriented. They love their family. They see themselves as very reliable, but they're frustrated and impatient, like a lot of us can be. And likes to please people, and really wants people to do the exact same in return, and just lives in that upper middle or upper class neighborhood, and also involved with the community. And some of their potential pains and frustrations. This is a big one. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this all the time. Who wants to have to do maintenance on their deck if they don't have to? So the ones that are looking for those more composite boards, we're looking for the clients that want to get away from that and wanting to install composite. If we're talking these bigger, higher money decks, something that's maintenance free, they don't have to, reseal it every 2-3 years, whatever. They're likely very busy people. They don't really know where to start. They just know what they kind of want, but they want to get an experience, and they're just worried that they might have a bad experience because they've worked with other contractors, likely somebody that's not even a deck builder or a fence guy. They're just have poor experiences overall. or maybe they've been left in the dark on projects and they're just kind of worried about that. Maybe they just don't really know what they want and they're not really sure how to design it, so they're worried about how to get the ball rolling, in general on their new deck. And also, like I said, everybody's more impatient these days, seems, so they don't want it to take forever. They want something done that doesn't take, months or too many months, whatever, just too long in their eyes. And everybody's going to be, especially, if you're talking about the um, more upper class, I guess, people with the bigger projects, they don't want to be ripped or overcharged, especially because of their zip code, maybe. Maybe they could have gotten it cheaper somewhere else. They don't want to have their yard damaged or torn up from the whole builds. Maybe they're just not really happy, or they're worried about the whole interaction with the decking company, all the communications, and ultimately just take too long or might hire the wrong companies. And then their goals and desires. So this is not only just about the project, but also just keeping in mind what they want in general, so you really have a better understanding. So of course they want a deck that they can bring their friends and family of that are over and really impressed by. They can entertain on it. They want to have a well-kept home. They can take care of their family, more money, wealth, income, nice car, nice house, family's happy. So you got to look at the different things that move people, not just necessarily, a good deck. So those are some of the examples there. And depending on your business, you'll want to sit down and kind of think about, who your perfect customer is. Like I said, this is only an example for someone that's looking for those higher end jobs, but we have plenty of clients that are, going after those more standard $20,000-$25,000 decks. So that's going to be a different mindset too. So just make sure when you're thinking about this, your website's matching that. All right. So on the website, as you're going through, you want to have some kind of unique selling propositions, things that are unique to you that will stand out. So if you've been in business a while, that's always a good one. I wouldn't put it in there if you just started, a couple years ago. I would just leave that out. But, if you've been in business 10, 20, 30 or more years, that's a good one to put on there. Financing. So I did a podcast about this recently with, I forget the name of the financing company. But anyways, he was saying that the revenue of companies that offered financing was, I think it was like 18% higher compared to the ones that didn't. So there is a real benefit of offering that. And I think it was like 80% of jobs are financed in some way, not through a traditional company, but maybe like borrowing money from somebody. So, or maybe it's, 70 something. It was a high number. So offering that and giving that option is going to lead to more conversions as well. Talking about your team, we talked about that, showing them off on the website. Lifetime warranties or workmanship warranties. If you offer a big one, I would kind of off the cuff, maybe at least 5 years or more, probably stand out a little bit more versus like 1 or 2. But some guys or some companies I know will do lifetime, so you can advertise that. Local, so if you're in a local, you're from the area, showing that off, that helps a lot, because especially in some different cities, they want to work with people they know or are from the same area. So putting that on there can definitely help you too. Okay, this is just an example. A client here that it's probably one of my favorites. And I know a lot of you were talking about the photos. This is just an example of what I meant. You can do it in all kinds of different variations, but this one's pretty wholesome, I would say. Just having a picture of everybody in a branded polo, not everybody just covered in, dirt, have a nice cleaner photo. And it's really not hard to take pictures like this yourself, as long as somebody's a little bit savvy. But you could always hire a photographer and, get these done, take pictures of your projects. You can knock it all, knock a lot of this out really fast and not have to think too much about it. But this is very easy to do, very quick to do. So at the very least, put the owner on there, maybe a family picture. If you have a bigger team, you can put a bunch of guys on there, a bunch of girls on there. So that's what I would recommend doing. And that'll just, just makes people feel a little bit more warm and fuzzy inside when they decide who to work with. And it's also good for Google too, actually. So they want to see that, there's an actual brand here. It's an actual company. They have an owner. It's not some like fake website, something like that. All right. So, okay. And it seemed like a lot of people said that they don't have photos, but I'd love to see, is there anybody on here? Just put a one in the chat if you do have team photos. Have you already done this? For the high achievers in the group. Caleb, nice. Kirsten, cool. All right. One, but need to be redone. Wow, okay. All right. So it looks like some of you have. Yeah, I mean, to get a photographer out there, you're probably, only need them out there for a couple hours. So I think no matter what size business you are, even if you're not a bigger company and you're a little bit tighter on the budget, it's not going to be that much to do. Or if you have a nice iPhone and a little bit savvy, you could just take the pictures yourself and put them on there. But it does help a ton to have these pictures on there. So really, really would recommend everyone to do that. And then, all right, so on the website page, if they're on the website, they're always going to be wondering, like the website could look amazing, but they're always going to be wondering who else who else has worked with you? What kind of reviews are there? So you can put a widget. This is how we do it. We'll put a widget on the website that brings in all the 5-star reviews. If there's lesser reviews, they'll leave those out, but it'll bring all these reviews in and it can update automatically too. But there's a crazy stat out there. It was basically along the lines of, it was like 80 some percent of people trust online reviews more than their friends or family's recommendation. And it kind of hit me as surprising, I guess, at first, but at the end of the day, especially depends who's giving you that, if it's a friend or family member you trust. But it's just so easy to go online and just check and see what the reviews are, or other companies, and think you might find a better option than the one they chose. And just like with a company or a contractor, same thing with Amazon. I'm sure everybody here uses Amazon, or most at the very least, but I doubt you're ever buying a product without going and checking the reviews. So you always want to see what other people have said about it, and that's going to be a lot cheaper than a new deck or a new fence. So people really want to know how the experience was, and just have an overwhelming amount of reviews with really good, solid 5-star reviews helps put them at ease and really helps you stand out. And side by side, you versus your competitors. If you're on Google and you have, in this case, 258 reviews and your competitors have 100 or 50, you're immediately going to get the first eyeballs. You're going to get likely the first crack at the lead too. So make sure you are getting reviews, and then make sure you are adding them to the website. Okay, so from Ben, does a widget need to be in the footer on every page, or is it a review page? It could be in the footer. I wouldn't put it like actually in the footer. And what I mean by that is, yeah, I guess no, I wouldn't. I would put it a little bit higher than that. I wouldn't make people scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page. Here you can see it's kind of towards the bottom, not quite. You could even put those a little bit higher on the page as well, but you definitely want to have it on every page. What all your service pages, every page you have should have that review widget on there. And I'll touch on that here in a second for why that matters so much. Okay. Does anybody here not have a mobile friendly website? Put a 1 in the chat if you have a website that's not mobile friendly. You got to pinch and zoom to view things, or it was created on the Mayflower. Hope not. Cool. All right, good. Just want to make sure. But it's one thing to have a mobile friendly website, but you also want to make sure it has a good experience. It is put together properly. Most local searches, so 3 out of 5, come from smartphones. So, just because you have a mobile version of the website doesn't mean it's good, I guess. Because you could have a desktop version, something on your computer that looks great, and then you scrunch it all down and it kind of looks strange. It's a little bit hard to use on mobile. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Make sure it is put together properly for mobile too, and it's easy to use. And you can see there, Google reports 46 of mobile consumers turn to a competitor's site if they have a bad experience. So if they're having a hard time using it or it's loading slow, they're just going to go on to the next. So make sure you're testing that too. Okay. Yeah, we talked about this already, the big phone number. So I don't really need to go on that. Just make sure you do have a big phone number in the header and make sure the header is sticky. And what I mean by that is you see how the menu sticks to the top of the page as you scroll. You don't want the phone number just disappearing along with the menu as you scroll down. All right. All right, so keep going here. We talked about a lot of these different options here. So I just want to show you a couple of different things. I'll use this as an example again. We already talked about the phone number. You can have buttons like this that as you scroll, you see free estimate on there. So that way, no matter where you scroll, and this is shown on mobile too, so it's easy to click with your thumb. You need to make sure all your services are on here correctly. So this is a big piece about SEO, but you don't want to have one page for just decks or one page for patios. You want to drill down into the additional keywords that you also do because they're being searched on Google too. So not everybody finds a deck builder by just typing in deck builder on Google. Some might want composite decking or wood decking or custom decks or pool decks, or maybe they're looking for add lighting to their existing deck, or they want to resurface it, or they want to seal it or stain it. Whatever the services you offer, make sure you drill down into those and have separate pages for them. So when they come to the website, you have things that are more tailored to them. And if they find, they type in, I'll just use pool decks as an example. They find your website, somebody that has a pool decks page is going to stand out versus somebody that just goes to the home page. You want something that's as closely tailored to them as possible, or to what they want as possible. And touching on the photos, along with taking pictures of your team, make sure you are taking pictures before and afters of all your jobs. So I usually recommend like every month or so, get somebody to come out and go to your best jobs, take professional pictures, use drones, make some really nice images that you can put on the website and replace them on your site if you don't have good ones. Let's see here. The city pages. So along with all the services that you need that we talked about like this, you also want to figure out which cities you want to go after and have separate pages on the website for that. So just like, this is in Tennessee, but if you have, I'm sure everyone here can think of the top areas that they want to target. So make a list of those, make a priority list of all the top cities, 1 to 20 or 30, and then create a separate page for each of those that says, things like deck builder in, whatever city, and then have all your different options on there. It'll be explaining kind of what you do on there as well. All right. Super small one, but something you want to do. Make sure you do have the name, the address, and phone number in the footer. Google uses that to kind of match it to your Google listing. So that's going to help your rankings. So make sure that's in there. And I would say most websites I see don't have that. So it's really easy to do. Just make sure to add that. Okay. I wanted to make sure we had some time to do some audits. So that was the main points, the things that I really look for to have on every website. You can have a nice design, unique design, but still adding all these critical elements to each one. Could look like a completely different website, but they should have similar elements, things that, the things I was telling you today, we've done tests on. I know that they work. So it's just going to help you make your website into actual lead generation machine, not just a pretty website. So I'm going to go, let's see here. I'm going to go back to the top here and let's see.
So actually, Alex, the list is on your slide.
Oh, good call. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Oh, I like that logo. That's pretty cool. Top deck. Nice. Okay. Definitely an A plus for logo. That's cool. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay. So, oh, the Ozarks, nice. So, in general, the website pages should have a good amount of content. We typically say like 700 words or more around there of content. So I can see these pages are really, really thin, and it's also kind of just talking about the manufacturers more than you and the company. So I would talk more about your process on here, add some more content related to that. I like this image, that looks good. And then also drilling down into additional services, not just decks, but if you're doing, installing railing or lighting or, deck installations, another common one, wood decking, composite decking, having separate pages for that. It looks like you have handrails here. So it looks like you have a page for that. Let's see here. Okay, good. Yeah, I like these images here. I would just make the rest a little bit easier to read. This is just kind of a ton of text here. So I would try to break it up with some more images and have it flow a little bit better. Text is kind of hard to read here too. Maybe increasing that size, adding some images, some more images here. See other services. Okay, looks like you're doing some porches. Yep. Okay. All right. So yeah, a perfect example here. You have deck lighting here. It's all kind of combined on the other services. You want to separate that out, put that on a different page, and have enough content on there. So that way, if somebody is typing in just deck lighting, you'll have a chance to rank. It's going to be, I'd like to say impossible. Could be possible if you have very little competition, but probably will be impossible to rank for something like deck lighting if you wanted to install that. I know probably most of the time people want it on a new build, but every once in a while there's guys guys or gals that want to do that separately or an existing deck. So putting that on a separate page there. Let's see what this is. Okay. Outdoor ceiling. Yeah, that's fine. I would probably just get some more information on that. Um, yeah, I mean, it looks like you guys have really good images. It looks like you're taking some solid images. I think just the overall flow of the website is just a little bit confusing. So um, that's probably the biggest thing I would be looking at. You got testimonials, which is great. That's great that you have this here too, all the different products. There's Fortress, awesome. Um, Not sure if you have a Bethany, if you're are you if you don't mind unmuting, are you do you have an office? Not sure if Bethany's on here. Uh, oh, she might not be available. But if you do have an office, you want to make sure that's in the footer there. Put the business name on there too. Yeah, you got the testimonials. Let's see if they're about us. Let's see what that looks like.
So Bethany does not have a microphone, but she does say we do things.
Sorry,
They
what
don't
was
have
that?
a microphone, Bethany, but she does say that they
Oh,
do.
okay, perfect. Yeah, so just put that in the footer here. Put the business name. You already have actually, it's kind of a unique one because you have a nice, cool number, but Google will kind of match that to your Google listing. So if they see deck it out versus your actual number, it's probably not the end of the world, but it's not ideal. You want it to match the number that you see on your Google listing. Let's see here. Yeah, this looks good. Okay. Oh, yeah. Much bigger phone number up here. Make something bigger up there. You can have a free estimate button up there as well. But I would probably move this over to the left and then put the phone number here and just make it much bigger. You already have a sticky menu, so you have plenty of room to just throw it up here. And that should definitely help. So that along with the new pages, the city pages we talked about, get clear on what different areas you want to go after and create pages for that. And that should definitely, that'll definitely help you out, help the website convert a little bit better. All right, let's go. I feel like I've seen this website before. No problem. Let's see here. Oh, Kelly. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, I think I've seen this one. Um, I think Kelly's going to be coming on the podcast here in a couple weeks. So, all right. Let's see what we got here. So that's good. You got separate pages here, but you want to drill down into them more. So let's see. Um, custom decks. Okay. So this is just listing out everything. Okay. So this is cool. I like that you did the before and after of this. That looks good. Um, you just need to have a lot more content kind of explaining the whole service. It's good to have all the stuff you have on here, but you need to be also talking to Google and having these keywords in there better. So, yeah, this is kind of strange too. Atlanta deck and porch. I wouldn't have that in there. I would just have go to atlanta.com/decks or deck builder. And then from here, just talking, having that keyword in there more. Yep. So I'll just have some more content on there. Like I said, the 700 words or more. Let's see what these other ones look like. The outdoor living. So this is a great opportunity to add some new pages. That's cool. You guys do tree houses. um, and that's probably this one's if you had a separate page for tree houses, you probably will get a lot of leads because I don't think I've ever seen a website with tree houses on there. So that's kind of cool. But all of these pages here should be separate pages. So, create a new page for every single one of those, add some nice pictures, get some good content on there. And then that's going to allow you to widen your net. So nobody's really looking or typing in like outdoor living. I mean, there probably are some, but not many are typing in outdoor living companies or outdoor living spaces. They're going to be typing in, arbor builder, pergola builder, gazebo builder. So you want to have those keywords in there and have it as a separate page so that way they find you that way. And let's see here. Let's see the About Us page. All right. I like that you have a picture here. Better than nothing, but you could probably make it a little bit clearer. I like that you put the dog in there. That's always a good idea. Putting family or the dog, something in there. That's great. Overall, this is solid. Biggest thing is just being able to tell, something about yourself and give people an idea of who you are and the company. So all in all, that looks fine. And it's cool. You had this is a good idea. Having I'm sure a lot of people would eat this up, knowing you're an animal lover. So putting that in there, I'm sure would help convert some people too. There's no shortage of people that love their pets. Let's see the blog here. Okay, so it looks like unless they're just not on this page, it's good to add blog posts. I didn't mention that actually, so I'm glad I saw this. You want to have new content added to the website every month. You don't want to just build a website and let it sit there. Building blog posts that talk about your different services is a really good idea. So definitely looking into that. Yeah, this get free estimate button. I like that a lot. I would probably just make this bigger and stand out a little bit more. I like that you have the chat here as long as you're good about responding. That can be kind of a pain. I like that you have the widget down here. Didn't really see that. Oh, you have some reviews here. Good. Okay, so you're doing a good job with reviews. Let's see. Okay. Putting the name, address, and phone number in the footer. Definitely want to add that. It's good that you have social media icons. So if you're posting to social media consistently, that's great to have that there, especially if you have good content. So somebody's looking to build something, nice, or I guess it doesn't even matter what the project is. If you can show off some different images and, different work you've done, that'll help a lot too. So that's good. And then I saw a gallery page. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so it just links over to here. All right. Okay. Yep. I like that. All right. I think, oh, the contact form, just making sure. Let's see, do you have a contact form? Okay. So I would probably get some more information from this. So, getting some different project information so you can qualify the leads a little bit better. I'd probably put that on there and then put this form on the other pages as you build them out. And that'll just make it easier for people to contact you. And then the city pages we didn't talk about. I see you're going after Atlanta, but all the suburbs around there you do work in, create pages for that too. And that should be a lot to get going with there. All right, moving on. All right, B&L home improvement. Overall, I mean, I like the way it's set up. I mean, it looks like an impressive site when you first click on it. So I like that. This is actually pretty cool too. You do this on the footer. That's pretty unique. I don't know if I've ever really seen that before. Um, I guess the only thing
Sorry, Alex, can you please share your screen so that we can,
you can't see my screen.
no.
Did that just happen?
I don't know, on my end, I'm not able to see it. I see that Kelly says that he's able to see it.
Okay, I don't know, Matilda. It might be on your end.
Possibly, yeah.
Had me freak out for a second. I was like,
I
was I doing all that and nobody saw what I was pointing out? Do you see the B&L home improvement? Is everyone? You just don't see it, Matilda?
No, I'm able to see it now.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, this is kind of unique. I've never really seen it, so I don't know if it really matters that much. I guess just people are more used to seeing it up here, and that's kind of why I like doing that. It's kind of hidden down here and might be a little bit lost. So I don't know. I guess you could do it either way, but that would just be my preference. I like these images you have. That looks great. Looks like you set these up nicely. Cool. All right. And this is a really good example here. This is always a good section to have on here. Why choose your company? Having, if you remember on that other slide, like your unique selling points, putting those on there. So things that make you stand out, decades of experience. That's great. Premium materials. So I like that a lot. You have the reviews. All right. Yeah, this is cool. Let's see what you got here. Cool. Yeah, I like the way you set up the home page. That looks good. All right, let's see the rest of this. Okay, so it looks like you have separate pages for this. If you're doing on the decking side, I already talked about that. Drilling and having more pages there is definitely something you want to do. And you can make it a little bit less crazy looking with these big menus. I'll just show you an example here. Having they're called mega menus. So eventually it's going to be just a little bit crazy to have just a long list here. So you can use this type of menu to like really organize it and make it a little bit not so crazy. Okay, I'm in the process of having them add much more. Okay, cool. When you say your recent content, you mean like your pages? Sorry, your photos of your past work. Okay, cool. All right. Looks like, yeah, you're talking about some different manufacturers. Okay. Yeah, this page here is thin, so you definitely want to add some more than this. More, see to the deck maintenance side, but having something for like deck builder. Oh, I like that. That looks cool. Yeah, so overall the formatting I like a lot. Looks good. So kind of what you did here, you would probably add a little bit more content, but just like you have a deck maintenance page, have it for deck installation, wood decking, composite decking, all those keywords I went, add those there. Same thing with roofing, depending on what type of materials you do, have different, asphalt, metal, shingle, I don't know all the roofing ones, but all the different types. Let's see if you have them on here. Yeah. Oh, maybe you do already. Okay. So you have a page for metal roofing. Okay. Yeah. Good job on this then. Yeah. Looks like you already have that. So that's good. there's any that are missing, you could add that, and I guess just drilling down into all these pages and see if there's any additional keywords. But overall, the site looks good. I like it. The contact forms, I would just put those on each page, put those towards the top, put the testimonials on there. Make this, well, it looks like those menu items don't show on some pages. So I would just make this sticky so it always scrolls with you. And then let's see. Do you have an About Us page? I'm not sure if there's an About Us page. If not, I would definitely recommend adding one of those and putting some pictures of you on there. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. I talked about this in the beginning. If you offer some kind of discount, you can put that on there. What else? Yeah, overall, it's solid. I mean, I think you could add some more pages and some more content, but you're not far off. I think overall, I like the site. So I think you're in a pretty good position. Um, if you have an actual address, I would add that versus just the city and city, state, and zip. And then you already have the number in there. Good, good. Okay. All right. And then the city pages, can't even remember if I mentioned that. It's kind of difficult with since you guys do so many services, but I would just start with whatever your main service is. So if you're doing a lot of decks, then, having separate pages for all your cities for decks, it'll get, I'm sure you can imagine it's going to turn into a lot of pages if you do it for every service you have here. But I would just start with your biggest priority and create those top 20, 30 pages and then work on from there. Yep, no problem. Next one. Let's go to Dan. All right. I thought it said Dan on there. SEO is changing, likely affecting the things you pointed out. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, especially with AI now. So you got to kind of feed Google, you got to like give them information that really helps them understand your company. So that's why having really good content that talks about your services will really help feed these AI engines. So the more you kind of put on your website, you want to do your best to make it readable, not just putting walls of text on there. It should have some nice formatting to it, but that helps, this whole AI revolution's coming. So you want to make sure you have information, people really understand it. And Google, a big thing with them is they're moving towards, well, they've already done this. They want brands. So some of you might have heard in the past, somebody will buy a domain like Deck Builder Atlanta, and they think that's kind of like the end all be all. But now Google doesn't even want that. They want to see an actual brand and a company behind it. So when this is perfect, like Rob's Renos, having a picture of yourself on here and get an understanding of who the company's, who owns the company and who's behind it. That's what they want to see now more than anything. So, all right. So Rob, let's go on yours here. Okay. Recommended trains. So first thing, just put your business information down here in the footer. Looks like it's pretty slow to load. So I've noticed you're using GoDaddy. Probably don't want to hear this, but they're just pretty awful. Honestly, they're they're just really slow and known for being slow. So it can be tough to have a website that's like really fast and on GoDaddy. I like you're taking these pictures. These look good. Looks like these might even be some nice professional photos. They look good. Awesome. So you're doing additions as well. So yeah, huge thing for you will just be separating all this out, not just having everything on the services page, drilling down, talking about decks, talking about additions, there should be a separate page for kitchen remodeling or basement remodeling, bathroom remodeling, whatever you're doing, home additions. You just don't want it all combined on one page here. and just more content in general. Google doesn't understand photos, not like they do with text. So yeah, just putting a lot more text here because Google is just not going to be able to understand this website really. So you want to have some new stuff on there. Oh, I love that you're doing videos though. Get out of here. Cool. So uh, top deck. So yeah, the other search engines right now, Google still just dominates. We don't even really put too much focus on these other search engines. You do end up, we'll add a website to them, to these search engines to make sure they know about them. But usually what you do on Google helps you on these other ones too. But at the end of the day, Google just completely dominates. It's like 92 or 3% of all the market share. So it's usually not something that pay a whole lot of attention to, especially because a change for this or a change you make to improve Google usually improves the other search engines too. So not usually something we focus on too much. All right. Yeah, so I think it was Dan or Rob. I would just focus on just building out this website. If it's GoDaddy, you might want to switch to WordPress. WordPress is it's like 60 some percent of all the websites online. It's just easier to use and a little bit more stable. So if you're thinking about redoing the website, that's what I would recommend doing. But probably could use a little bit of a overhaul on here. Put the phone number up in the header, add the about us page, add the city pages, the service pages. That'll definitely help you out. Um, okay. Looks like, yeah, this is great to have here, by the way. If you have guys on the job, wearing custom clothing or branded clothing, take some pictures of them. You can put it on the website too. That looks really good. Looks like you got Facebook and Instagram on there as well. Okay. All right. The next one, my deck. This one sounds familiar too. Are we doing a podcast with them? I don't know. This website looks familiar as well. I feel like I've seen this one before. No problem, Dan. And all right, we'll go in. I don't know this website. I feel like I've seen before. I can't remember why, but also pretty amazing. You were able to get the mydeck.com. That's probably pretty expensive if you sold it these days. But I like the images here. Let's see here. So, okay. So this looks like, yeah, this is the decking page. Looks like you need to add them to the header. So whenever they're scrolling, you can see the different services and what you guys do. Um, and it looks like you're just decks and outdoor living, but um, no problem, Dan. Thank you. And then I like that you have these projects. This is something I want to do more and more of, but it just can be tough to get this content to put it on the website. But it's great if you can, showing off like a project and kind of what was all involved in it. I mean, this looks excellent. I love the way this is set up. Nice, big, beautiful, professional photographs. And then they can view all these different ones. So this is really, really good idea to have this on here. And it's great too. I'm sure you experienced this, but if somebody's looking to rebuild their deck and they've already probably stalked all these projects and they can say like, we like this, or we like that, they can get some ideas from that and kind of give you a better idea of what they're looking for. So this is always a good idea to have these. Let's see here. Yeah, you got a bunch of them on here, so that looks good. New Jersey, okay. Yeah, so I would just add, you're gonna have a hard time. You're not gonna, you're gonna have a hard time ranking for pages if you don't have more content on them. It can happen, but all these other different variations of pages, like composite decking or pool decks. Looks like you did that one was a pool deck. separating out for railing and lighting. It's just going to make it easier to rank for different types of content. And if somebody's looking for lighting specifically, they can find your page, and that might be someone that wants to also get a full rebuild too. See the About Us page. All right. Cool. That looks good. All right, cool. Yep, this looks good. See the blog here. I don't see any dates on this, so I'm not sure how often you're doing. There's only three, probably, or four, not too many, but yeah, adding some new pages on there. The city pages look like they're missing unless I'm not finding them. So in Jersey, whatever cities you go after, I'll just create new pages for that. That'll help you out. Yeah, like this. I'd probably add those projects a little bit more prominently. Is that what showroom is? Oh, no, this is something different. Okay. Oh, this is your actual showroom. Okay, never mind. I thought you meant like a virtual showroom or something. Okay. And if you have that, let me see if that's on the. Yeah, if you have that, I would probably advertise that a little bit better too. It's good you have the office here, but maybe, well, you got the button here, so that might be fine. Yeah, that's probably okay. And reviews. Definitely want to have the contact form on more pages. I would just add this as a widget to a lot of your pages too. I like that you have this project price. That's good, but it's also nice to have a link to the review, like on Google. Looks like you're getting a bunch of house ones too. Okay. Also, these look like they're pretty outdated, unless this is just the early. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if you have any more recent projects and things like that, or Google reviews. You can put that on there. You have your address on here, phone number, perfect. Okay, so looks like I missed this. Looks like you do have it for deck lighting. Yeah, so just more expanding these pages. They're really thin, so it's going to be hard to rank for that. All these pages should really just be up in the footer here. I mean, sorry, the header. So all your services should be a drop down, and then you can go through and find it, because it was really hard to even tell this was here. So that'll just make it easier, but have the right idea with that. And I like that you have the awards on here. Cool. All right. I think that's about it. All right. Thanks, Joe. All right. So have I'll do one more. We're getting low on time. We're already past, so I'll just do one more. Um Let me just do this last one, Metro reconstruction. So it looks like something's broken on this site. Yeah, something's broken up here, so just got to get that. Oh yeah, and it scrolls with you, so it takes up half the page. So something happened here. You need to get some developer to fix that. Um, let's see here. Yeah, it looks like, yeah. So it looks like you got pretty generic with these pages. So I would just drill down and figure out which keywords get more volume, and then create pages for it, like excavation or snow removal, have those as separate pages. Let's see what else here. Yeah, add in some different images on here too. The pages, this is just a lot of text, but it looks like you do a ton. I would really focus on, oh, you might have an excavation page here. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like you have one here. The pages just need to be updated, but having a menu with all the different options is a good idea, because most people are going to have a hard time finding all these different services you do. So if it's not clearly in the menu, it's going to be hard. And then the same thing I've been talking about, the contact forms, put some reviews on here, about us page, put some pictures of, the team on here, some blog posts. Let's see. Yeah, so just more consistent content. All right, good. Wow, that is really cool there. Um, yeah, Bethany, so it should come from Fortress. We're gonna send them the recording after, and then they should be sending it out to you. I think we might be sending it from our email too. Wow, this is really cool though. This looks really awesome. That's a really cool barn. All right. Okay. Put the name in the footer. I really like how you guys did this. This looks good. Cool. Yep, just keep taking pictures. All right. Oh, the phone number. I usually I don't really like putting the email in there too much. I'd rather them find the contact form on each page. So that way, if you're tracking all this properly, you'll be able to tell if it's where the lead came in more accurately. It's going to be really hard. I don't even know if it's even possible to track the lead through an email. So I would, if you have that out and just have everything through the contact form, it's just easier to manage. But that's really up to you. But the phone number, put it over here. Have bigger. That'll help too. All right. Okay. All right. So we're getting pretty close. I just want to know. All right. So out of all these things that we went through, I'm hoping a lot of it you're able to kind of associate with your website and some things that you would could fix. But obviously, money loves speed. Like I was saying, everyone's impatient. So the quicker you can implement things, the better off you are. Especially since we're so close to the busy season for most, at least the northern states, and just in general, I think spring pretty much across the country. Um, okay. Oh, Ben said weird the homepage shows up that way. Yeah, I'm not sure why might be because it's in Chrome and you checked it somewhere else, maybe. But I want to see. I'd like you to pick kind of three things that you could implement. It sounds like Ben is already fixing something right now, so that's great. He's already on top of it. But I'd like you to just kind of write down some things, make some notes, what you can do in the next 30 days, top three things, because this is such a crucial time, getting yourself ready for the busy season, having these separate pages, all these little tweaks can end up making a huge difference and making you a lot more money if you just implement them. So I'd like you to just put some notes down. If you have a piece of paper, type it out, whatever, in a Word document. But just think about what you could actually implement, and I know it's going to have a good impact on you. So and put in the chat, is there anything that stuck out that you really want to make an update after I went through these audits? Is there one thing that you have to do? I know Ben said he's fixing the header, but anybody else have anything they would like to implement? All right. Literature to pages. Yeah, definitely had some more content on there. Service location. Yep, service pages. Absolutely. All right, cool. All right, so we already kind of talked about this. If you do have any questions about marketing for your business, feel free to reach out to us. And if you have any questions about your individual website, um, if you do want us to audit your website, and we weren't able to get back to, or weren't able to do it today, feel free to to put something in the chat there with your name, your URL, and the number to reach you on to kind of talk through the results. Feel free to put that in the chat or send it as a DM. If you do want to talk with us too, this is a QR code. You can scan that, and that's linked to Matilde's calendar. So we can always chat about that too and do a more formal audit if you'd like us to really give you a specific set of things to fix. We're happy to do that too. And then that's our phone number there, 443-241-6624. Yorkies. All right. And yeah, that's our website if you're ever curious, deckfencemarketers.com. We have all kinds of there's a lot of all of our older webinars. So this one's on websites, but we have stuff on SEO or social media, Google Ads, most types of marketing. We have a separate webinar for. So if you're ever curious, you can check that on our website, and also the Fence and Deck Mastery podcast. We do a lot of episodes there, so you can feel free to check that out and see if there's anything helpful. But yeah, that's about it. I'll put if you're curious too, I'll put the link in there. That's the link to our calendar there if you're curious. But yeah, that's kind of it. And social media, if you follow Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or LinkedIn, we have a bunch of content there too you could scan. But that's really it. I don't really have too much else. I mean, does anybody have any questions or anything that any questions for me before we kind of close out here? Feel free to put them in the chat, or you can unmute if you'd like. Problem. Thanks for coming. Yeah, I'm glad. I hope this was useful to everybody. I hope there's some things that can set you guys up. Yeah, we're going to be emailing the podcast. Sorry, not the podcast. The webinar. We'll be emailing that out, and we'll be adding it to our website too. So you'll be able to see it there. It'll be on YouTube, so you can rewatch that as well. And yeah, that's kind of it. So I don't see any questions coming here in a minute. I'll just close out, I guess. Okay, what is the top thing for ranking in multiple city map packs? So that's a good question. Caleb, basically, it depends. So if you're in a major city, it's going to be hard to rank in cities surrounding that if there's just a lot of competition. So you can do SEO and rank in multiple cities around you, but if you have a lot of competition, they can stop you. They can kind of, I guess, set up a wall or whatever, so you can't rank in a certain area. Eventually, you're not going to be able to rank too far out, but you can. And something we do a lot is setting up like satellite offices. So if you want to say you're in, I don't know, Dallas, and you want to expand into Plano or Houston, I don't know. I'm just making things up. I can't think of the subset of cities, but say you want to expand into other areas that are close by, 30 or so miles away. You can set up separate offices in those areas. So we do that. We help you get another office in these other, basically a cheap office space, nothing crazy. It doesn't have to be a fancy shop. Pay $500-ish a month for this really basic office, and then you can set up in another area and take advantage of that new area that you're in, the new city. So if you do that, that'll help you expand, and that's really a big strategy. I think somebody from Architect was on here. It's kind of similar to the strategy they use. They're just a real big company with all these franchises, obviously, but kind of setting up additional offices similar to they do in different like strategic locations. It's an excellent way to grow and get more visibility. So that's what I would recommend doing. I know it's probably a little bit more complicated than you were hoping, but SEO is going to only get you so far. You're not going to rank 30 miles away in SEO. So having those additional offices helps you get there. That'll help a lot. And then let's see here. Oh, Chelsea said you can get the QR code. Okay. And we might have to double check those. They're not working. All right. All right. I think that's it. And I don't see any other questions coming in. So appreciate everybody coming on here. I hope it was helpful. And just want to thank Fortress again for setting this up and having us on here so we can share this different information. I hope everyone got a lot out of it, and I hope everyone's excited for the new year and kills it. So take care, everybody. Good luck this year. Talk soon.
Bye, everyone.